Super typhoon hits Philippines before heading for Taiwan. U.S. says Russian plane hit drone with flare over Syria. Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang suddenly replaced by predecessor. China warns Italy against Belt and Road withdrawal. Mystery company buys nearly $1 billion of land near Air Force Base. A $5.5 trillion savings wipeout is raising risks for the U.S. economy. Protesters burn Koran in front of Egyptian embassy in Denmark. Korean thriller became the most watched Netflix movie worldwide.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Wednesday, July 26th, and here are your top stories. Philippines authorities on Tuesday evacuated hundreds of people in coastal communities as Super Typhoon Doxori intensified in strength, pummeling the north with strong winds and heavy rain before it heads towards Taiwan. Taiwan's government on Tuesday afternoon issued a land warning ahead of the typhoon's approach. On Monday, Taiwan raised a sea warning. The typhoon is being watched closely in case it affects Taiwan's largest LNG import terminal, Yong'an, or key oil refineries.
Taiwan is also home to plants making some of the world's most advanced computer chips, and Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company said it's undertaking routine precautions to avoid disruptions. Doxori is forecast to exit the Philippines on Thursday morning. It will then likely cross the Taiwan Strait and make landfall in the vicinity of Fujian, China on Friday morning. Taiwan hasn't seen a typhoon make landfall for nearly 4 years. China's National Meteorological Center has issued a yellow alert for Doxori.
The U.S. military said a Russian fighter jet hit a U.S. drone with a flare and severely damaged its propeller over Syria, the latest in a series of closer interactions by Russian military aircrafts in the region. In a statement on Tuesday, the U.S. military said one of the Russian flares struck the U.S. MQ-9, severely damaging its propeller. The statement added, fortunately, the MQ-9 crew was able to maintain flight and safely recover the aircraft to its home base.
Fighter aircraft dumping fuel in front of this UAV.
U.S. officials say, over the past several months, Russian jets have increased the pace of dangerous encounters with U.S. military aircraft over Syria, where forces from both countries operate. However, U.S. military officials have said it is unclear what has led to the uptick in aggressive Russian moves over Syrian skies. General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, told reporters earlier this month, "There is a bit of an uptick, but I wouldn't overstate it too much. I think that our forces have adequate rules of engagement."
China's Foreign Minister Qin Gang was dramatically ousted on Tuesday after a prolonged absence from public view and replaced by his predecessor Wang Yi in a surprising and highly unusual shakeup of the country's foreign policy leadership. The sudden move, approved by the top decision-making body of China's rubber-stamp parliament, comes as mystery has swirled around the fate of Qin, who has not been seen in public for a month. No reason has yet been given for Qin's departure.
Qin, 57, a career diplomat and trusted aide of Chinese leader Xi Jinping, had only been appointed foreign minister in December after serving as China's ambassador to Washington. Qin's disappearance from China's foreign affairs schedule has not been fully explained by the ministry, which briefly cited health reasons when he missed a diplomatic gathering earlier this month. In his last public appearance, Qin was seen walking side by side with Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Andrei Rudenko in Beijing.
Beijing has reacted with alarm to Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's comment that President Joe Biden has not mentioned China's Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, to her. Beijing's Global Times propaganda newspaper argued that Meloni's words suggest she is hiding something. The newspaper fears Meloni might use her trip to the White House on Thursday to cement U.S.-Italian relations at the BRI's expense, which would be bad news for China.
The Global Times emphasized as much, warning that, if Italy moves to follow the strategic direction of the U.S., it will hurt its own interests, and it may end up harming its autonomy in foreign relations. Experts have stated that China's message is rather straightforward. That is, if you leave the BRI, we will punish you. But if Italy does pull out of the BRI, the United States should be ready to provide Italy with new economic incentives. Some political pundits have said that Beijing should not be allowed to cajole long-standing U.S. allies into conformity with its global agenda.
Nearly $1 billion in land purchases by a mysterious company near a California Air Force base is raising national security concerns in the United States. Public records show a group called Flannery Associates has invested more than $800 million on almost 54,000 acres of land surrounding the Travis Air Force Base since 2018, zoned for agricultural use. And after 8 months of investigation, federal officials have not been able to determine exactly who is backing the company.
Nearly $1 billion in land purchases by a mystery company near a California Air Force base is raising national security concerns.
Legal representation for Flannery says the group is controlled by U.S. citizens, with 97% of its capital coming from U.S.-based investors. However, federal officials can't confirm or deny this to be true. This so-called mystery company has been ramping up its purchases since the beginning of the year, prompting a federal investigation into its intentions. It is still unclear what Flannery's purpose is for investing in land near the base. The Air Force's Foreign Investment Risk Review Office is currently investigating Flannery Associates.
The U.S. economy has held up remarkably well this year, defying recession prediction thanks in part to America's pandemic-era savings that have cushioned consumer spending. Unfortunately, support from saving is now running low. According to barcharts.com, Americans' personal savings have collapsed by an eye-watering $5.5 trillion since April 2020, thanks to soaring inflations, and that could spell trouble for the U.S. economy. The financial data provider said such reserves have now fallen to levels lower than before the COVID-19 pandemic.
Imagine a world where the cash registers stay silent, online shopping carts remain abandoned, and the
U.S. household savings surged during the pandemic, spurred by government stimulus checks and a drop in in-person spending. That cash pile has boosted consumer spending ever since COVID restrictions were relaxed. High inflation could also further eat into savings, as prices of everything from energy to food has surged. Billionaire investor Bill Gross recently weighed in on falling consumer savings levels, warning that Americans could run out of their pandemic savings later this year, paving the way for a recession.
5 anti-Islam activists set fire to a Koran in front of the Egyptian embassy in Copenhagen on Tuesday, the third such incident in Denmark in less than a week, following Koran burning in nearby Sweden that enraged Muslims. Denmark and Sweden have said they deplore the burning of the Koran, but cannot prevent it under rules protecting free speech. Iraq's foreign minister on Monday called on authorities of European Union countries to quickly reconsider so-called freedom of expression in light of the Koran burning.
Protesters in Iraq have gathered near the Danish embassy in Baghdad.
A group called Danish Patriots held Tuesday's demonstration in Copenhagen, which followed Koran burnings the group staged on Monday and last week in front of the Iraqi embassy. On Monday, Turkey said it strongly condemned what it called a despicable attack on the Koran and called on Denmark to take necessary measures to prevent this hate crime against Islam. The Danish government has condemned the burnings as provocative and shameful acts, but says it does not have the power to block nonviolent demonstrators.
This year on Netflix, one of the biggest movies is a thriller from South Korea. Unlocked is a mystery psychological thriller. The film follows a woman whose life is turned upside down after a man gets a hold of her lost cell phone and uses it to track her every move. The movie is based on the Japanese novel of the same name, which was also adapted into 2018 film Stolen Identity. Unlocked debuted on Netflix in February and spent 4 weeks in the global top 10 of non-English movies on the platform.
무슨 일 있어? 네가 오라고 해놓고.
Unlocked stars Chun Woo-hee, Im Si-won and Kim Hee-won. It's also the feature film directorial debut of Kim Tae-jun. It has received mostly positive reviews, and it currently has a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. The media said the Asian country has been a force in the film and television industry for quite some time now. However, U.S. audiences have started to pay attention in recent years, especially thanks to filmmakers from the country getting more recognition.
Now let's delve into the news of the Korean thriller. Number 1, Thriller, 惊悚片. This excellent thriller is fast-paced and believable. Number 2, Turn Something Upside Down, 把某物上下颠倒. At times they go so far as to confront right and wrong and turn things upside down. Number 3, Debut, 首次亮相, 首次登台. Dundee's United Dave Bowman makes his international debut. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section, and the correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday, and click the link below now to join Funday for free. I'm Wade Lee, your host. I'll see you next time.
不好意思，
那边坐。这是你的麦克风。待会我们拍的时候呢，如果我没有喊卡的话，你就继续念，不要停。OK。没有喊卡就给我继续念下去哦。
好的。Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is December 13th, and here are your top stories.